Siyanamukela kwi-Ithala Education Platform ibambisene ne-Go Digital SA Foundation. Siyathemba nizolijabulela lolu hlelo.
Sanibonani grade 12, ngiyathemba ukuthi niphilile. Namhlanje sizokwenza ama-lessons Excel abayibiza nge-spreadsheet. Ngiyathemba ukuthi wonke umuntu understand ukuthi i-Excel isebenza kanjani, ngiyathemba ukuthi ama-complications awekho kakhulu in terms of ukufunda noku-understand ama-formulas nama-functions. So sizobheka ama-formulas nama-functions ambalwa nje la ngicabanga ukuthi angasisiza asisebenzele. But before mhlawumbe sibheke lokho, ngifanele siqale sibheke kuqala ukuthi kwayona nje i-Excel ibuya kanjani noma isuke imi kanjani. Now njengamanje la on your screen into oyibonayo, you're actually looking at how your Excel will look like. La phezulu A, B, C, D, E uziyogcina kunumber ekude kakhulu engikwazi ukuyisho. Those are columns. La ezansi ku 1 2 3 4, this is called rows. La ekuhlangana khona inumber ne-text noma ne-letter siyibiza nge-cell. So this will be your cell B1, kubuye kuvele futhi nalapha your cell 11, your cell C12. And into ufuna ukuyinothisa futhi ukuthi every time you are highlighting anything on your Excel, it will tell you up here ukuthi uhighlight ini, how long. See, 4 rows, 2 columns, 5 rows, 3 columns. So up in that name box, it tell you everything osuke uyenza. Now here we've got our functions. Now uyakwazi ukuthi function ungazi uzuyifake, uvela uklike lapha ya kuma functions bese uyawathola ama functions. So usually iqhamuka in most recently used. So uma ufaka all uwathola wonke osuke uzowasebenzisa. But then you can always use all depending what you understand that you need to sebenza ngaso isikhathi. You can always use text mawazi ukuthi usebenza ngo-text, or you can always use date and time or sebenza ngo-date and time. But other than that, most recently used would be most appropriate. But then only to find out maybe I want to work on my functions or super thing. So whichever way that works for you, you can always use all. There's a way type of what you phone. There's examples. More to phone sum, and then go, and then should take you straight to sum. Where is it? Search for function. Okay, I come to explain. Just small enough games with me. Okay, then it will take you straight to sum. But other than that, this is how it will actually go. Alright, now I need us to start doing and understanding ama-tabs esisuke sinawo lawa esisuke sinikezwe wona ukuthi asebenza kanjani nokuthi yini umsebenzi wayo. Now, before we start to do that, let's speak ama-functions. Normally, there was ama-functions in us. I'm sorry about that. Now, let's speak ama-text functions or ama-text date functions. While it's over. Okay, now we are to sebenza ama-functions uku-extracta usuku, so kungaba u-full weight from a date format, kungaba inyanga, kungaba unyaka. So njengamanje kune-worksheet engiqeda kuyivula. This is the worksheet of text date. Ufuna understand ukuthi isebenza kanjani le issue. This issue here in a date format yakho. Your date format is 2021-08-21. Just an example. So if ever you want to show the day, only the day here, or the month, or the year, you can actually use a formula. But before we get to that, the formula we figure based on the formula esibizwa today. So if we go equals to today, so whichever date is so my date is set at 2021 August 21. So if it's set like that, then uma ngabe uthi i-date yami ngiyayishintsha la ngifaka ukuthi i-date yanamhlanje, again here izokhomisa i-date yanamhlanje, but other than that we use a formula esibiza equals to today. Enye into efuna uyi-understand ukuthi these are the same formulas, kodwa umehluko ukuthi phezulu laphaya uhlobo lwe-date olusebenzisayo uhlobo lunjani. So uma uya kuma-settings akho laphaya kuma-number settings, you are given an option ukuthi i-date yakho uyenze ibe i-long date, ibe i-short date, or ibe i-date esuke iphakathi nendawo. So hence we are seeing this date ukuthi awafani. Now esibheke manje le formula yethu esikhuluma ngayo ezosinikeza usuku, inyanga, depending ukuthi inyanga yakho uyifuna kanjani, uyifuna ibu-MMM noma ibu-MMMM, then bese kuba uyear wakho. So how do you do this one? You press equals to and then you click on the text. In this case i-text yethu it's F7, and then you say comma and then you use the day. Or else uma ukuthi ufuna inyanga, you click in here and you say equals to text, and then here ku F7 izokukhiphela ini, izokukhiphela inyanga osukuyifuna. So same thing applies here. Uma ngabe kuwukuthi ufuna inyanga ephelele, uzosebenzisa u-text then usebenzisa u-MMM above 4. Same thing applies here. Uma ufuna unyaka uzosebenzisa u-text, usebenzise the cell osukuyidinga, and then bese usebenzisa unyaka wakho. Oh yeah. Okay, now let's move on and look for another activity, or rather another lesson to take. Let's go to ama-functions esiwajwayele esawathola ka-grade 10 ngesikhathi siqala nje sisebenzisa i-Excel. Now we've had a couple of functions esisebenza ngawo from grade 10, 11 sisifike la ka-grade 12. So sizowabheka singayivulanga i-Excel, siwabuka la ku-Word. Here we've got a formula, or rather a function esibiza ngo-sum. Now usum yini umsebenzi wakhe na? Uku-add up i-range yakho yama-numbers. So masikhuluma nge-range sikhuluma ukuthi izosuka ku-D2 to D7, i-range le from here to there, it's called a range, or from here down to here. So kwicase efana nale, uma ngabe sibuka here an example, sino sum D2 to D7. Now this is D, now this is 2. Ngingachaza saqala i-introduction ukuthi u-D2 iyaqala khona i-cell yakho. So from D2 to D7 it will sum it up. It will add up all these numbers down to the last number. The answer yakho is about 5,400 based on these numbers. Now bese siba ne function esibiza ngo-average. Now u-average uzokunikeza ama-average numbers noma total range of a cells, and divide this total by the number of cells in the range. So again, example yakhona will be the average of this money. You're gonna say equals to average, then go down from D2 to D7, then your average is 900. Now same thing applies here. Minimum and maximum, they play more or like the same thing. Minimum will give you the lowest value, while maximum will give you the highest value. So uzothola inamba noma imali enkulu la, or else uzothola imali encane, depending ukuthi usebenzisa minimum noma maximum. So i-example yethu la iku-E. La ku-E so 25 rand will be the smallest, while u-950 will be your highest. Uyibuka kahle le mali lapha yana. So you say equals to min, or you say equals to max. Now count, when count A, uhlezi njalo sinikeza ama-complications mali ukuthi siyawenza, or people tend to forget ukuthi konje u-count no-count A usebenza kanjani. Now count ama-number of cells in the range anama-numbers kuphela, while count A count ama-number of cells in the range that are not empty. Now ngamanye amagama ake senze nje example, uma ngabe kuwukuthi uzothi count D2 to D7, izosuka la ku D2 to D7, it will tell you ukuthi from D2 to D7 kukhona ama cells noma kukhona ini kuleyo part leyo. So D2 to D7 will give you 6. So this is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So anything is engekho empty, it will give it to you. Now count A uzokukountela ama numbers, kodwa uma ukuthi ku blank it will not give you anything. So in this case, we don't have anything in here, hence we are given the answer ewu-5 because ibale 1 2 3 4 5. Now bese kuba khona count blank, count if. Now bakhona labanye futhi count esizodila nabo later on, but these ones are the basic ones. Now count blank njengoba lesho igama, count blank will actually count the number of cells in a range which are empty. So in this case, the count blank process a highlighter from C2 to C7. It will only give us 1 because here it's black. But other than that, if we were to count blank or as a filled up, 7 to count blank, we'll get to the answer it was 0. While we count if if, so kune condition noma criteria ekufanele siyilandele. So i-criteria siyatshelwa yona ukuthi in the particular case isuke ithini. Mhlawumbe laba bazothi criteria yethu asibalela ama-female wodwa, noma la criteria yethu asibalela o-grade 10 noma o-grade 11 wodwa, noma la criteria yethu asibalela exclusion fee engaphezulu ka-R700 noma engaphansi ka-R700. So if will play a role efana naleyo whereby you are given a criteria to do so. Now in this case, the example esinikezwe yona laphana ufike usebenzise count if and then you highlight a range osuke unikezwe yona. So in this case it's B2 to B7, and then once you've done B2 to B7, you are then advised ukuthi usebenzise or ubhale ufemale wakho kuma inverted commas. Now why do you put them in inverted commas? Because uma ukuthi ubhala nje okunjalo, i-Excel won't actually recognize ukuthi la usebenzise khona i-criteria yakho ufuna ini khona. In most cases siyiclick i-cell le eno-female noma le no-male, but uma ukuthi futhi uyawenza lokho, see through it ukuthi i-formula yakho sokuyifaka, it won't require you ukuthi uyi-copy isezansi, because if that's a case, uma usuyicopy usuyisezansi kuzokwenzakalani, izobe sikhopha i-cell elandelayo ezansi. So this is when we use i-absolute cell referencing esebenza kakhulu ka-grade 11, but nayo futhi sizodila ngayo later on in the lesson. Bese siba ne-formula esibiza ngo-now. Now u-now will actually insert the current date and time. So u-now no-today benza i-role efanayo. Yokubona laphaya ukuthi will be given the very same date, will be given the very same date, depending ukuthi ufuna i-date yakho inesikhathi yini noma ufuna i-date yakho inosuku kuphela. So today will give you just a normal date, while now will give you including nanesikhathi futhi phakathi. Now mode identify a value ephindeka kaningi. So in this case i-value ephindeka kaningi in this one must be equals to mode bese se highlight range yethu from D2 to D7 ephindeka kaningi nenye u-800. So your mode will be, the corner will be u-800, while median ucishe ufane no average, kodwa wena will identify the most number in a cell. So nakhona futhi formula yakho, remember it always starts with an equal sign. So it's equals to median, then uvule bracket. Whenever you are double clicking, you're gonna get to this. Whenever you are double clicking, if function osuke usunikezwe yona iyasiqedelela yona, or else ungakwazi ukuyiqedela bese uvula i-bracket. But see through it ukuthi function iyavela nokuthi isuke right, because people will tend to think ukuthi mangabe uyayazi i-spelling, kanti uma i-spelling kuwukuthi awusazi, then you'll find yourself getting frustrated ukuthi isuke sekwenziwa yini. But sizoya futhi kuleyo issue leyo yama-errors uyawuhlangana nawo uma kuwukuthi udila ne-Excel. Now u-rand ngazocabanga ukuthi imali, u-rand ukhuluma ngo-random number in a cell, la suke sibheka ukuthi i-value yakho isuke ikuphi. But you are also given an option ukuthi u-rand value yakho kumele ibe between which numbers. Uyakwazi to keep a random number from 0 to 10, from 0 to 100, even to a million. Usually u-rand or rather u-rand between uyaye usetshenziswa uma ukuthi sifuna ukukhipha abantu noma sifuna ukucosha inamba randomly. So u-random number, the value is always between 0 and 1, while u-rand between you specify i-value yakho ukuthi isuke izobukubani. So i-difference yethu isuke lapho. So you can always go up to 1,000 to a million ku-rand between, while u-rand it's only u-0 no 1. We don't usually use u-rand, but rather sisebenzisa kakhulu u-rand between. Okay, now we are done with our functions esahlangana nawo ka-grade 10. Now let us look at Excel formulas and functions usually asetshenziswayo kakhulu mangabe kuwukuthi usuke usayiqala i-Excel yakho. Now sizophinde sihlale nama-formulas asike sawenza vele before njengamanje. Remember, usum sesike sakhuluma ngayo ukuthi usum will actually give you an answer. Let me try and open just one Excel. Just please. I'm hoping this one will have, okay, it has something. Okay, now sum will actually calculate the sum of a group of values. So this is actually how it will actually work. Manje ukuthi ufuna ukusamarisha yonke leya part yakhe laphayana, you use as it is written here, or it was written in the previous lesson. You say equals to, then you put in the function, and then bese uvula i-bracket bese calculate whatever number ufuna calculate. So in this case it will be equals to sum, you open your bracket. See, the best way for you to understand and to know ukuthi formula yakho isuke right ukuthi uma uvula i-bracket unikezwa imbuzi laphayana. So akama ifanele ngiyakutshela ukuthi wenza njani, and then you highlight your cell osuke ufuna ukusebenza ngayo. So depending ukuthi ufuna ukusamarisha into engakanani. So in this case I'm just gonna go up to here. So here range I'm between B3 to B6, and then I close in the bracket, and then I press enter. So this is my sum. So muhlanza lo uzothola answer yakho lapha ngezenza. Now another formula esijwayele ukuyisebenzisa u-average. Siyawuchaza futhi average before. Now njengamanje ngifisa ukuthi lana into esikhuluma ngayo siyeze siyibone isebenza kanjani. Now average wakho same thing. You always start with an equals to. Sizokhuluma in details. So it's equals to average. And ngiyayikhuluma le part yakho ka ukuthi formula will actually pop up here, or a function will actually pop up here. You can always double click ukuthi kuqedelele, and then your open bracket izobe siyavela automatically. So here again you can always highlight any number of ukuthi ufuna ukuthola yena u-average, and then you open you close bracket, and then you press enter. Now other than that uyakwazi futhi uphinde uqhubeke siye kuformula elandelayo njengamanje sino count. So let's tell count, we'll count the number of cells in a range contain ama numbers. So must be back here. Count wethu uma sithi equals to count sivula bracket. Si count that this part yethu eneyinanga kuphela bese sivala bracket. And uyabona lento le ibhalile ukuthi value lapha yana, of which means it won't be able to count this thing. Hence it's giving you 0. But if I were to change the part yami ngithi ngihighlight yonke leya part yami le lapha ya, and then enter, it will tell me ukuthi nana ipart engihighlightile ngakhi u12, like I told you before ukuthi ukwazi ukubona lapha yana ukuthi na i-row yakho u12 row. So your answer here will be u12. Now moving on to int. Now int igama, let's remove the decimal portion of a number, leaving just the integer portion. So depending ukuthi nana isuke ime kanjani ipart yakho noma inumber yakho. So for this case u88 lo sizoyikhipha leya part yethu le decimal lapha sisala nale esele lapha. So your formula will be equals to int round a number down to the nearest integer. So then you open the bracket, then here it asks you for a number. So let's just take a random number here. This will be your number. You close bracket. You see, Excel is the most easiest application esingayisebenzisa masisebenzisa i-office, because in most of the cases ukuthi you understand the formula yakho ukuthi kanjani, it will actually guide you ngoba icishe ifana ukuthi kunikeza imbuzi mabuyenza. So you see it has round up to u8 ngoba it has rounded it down. So njengoba ibhalile futhi nalapha futhi you say equals to int, it rounds the number down to the nearest integer. It actually rounds it down, not actually up. So that is how it will actually work. Now moving on to round. Now round will round a number to a specified number of decimal places or to a specified number of digit positions. So you'll have to tell it up to 2, up to 3, up to 4, depending what you tell. So this is how it will actually go. You say equals to round. See, it rounds a number of a specified to a specified number of digits, because you have to be specific ukuthi ufuna abe mangakhi ama-number of digits. Same thing like ngichaza lapha yana. Uyabona ukuthi unumber wakho then comma number of digits. It has actually guided you to understand ukuthi njengamanje into engiyifunayo ngifuna le number le ngifuna ukuyi-round up. And then after that, after ngifake i-comma, another thing is again, njengoba kuno number here kusuka khona i-comma lapha ya. At some of us we taught in our keyboard you are required to put in a semicolon instead of a comma. So see through it ukuthi uyanotice lokho so that ungazi ukuthola soba frustrated in your exam uthi uyabhala kanti ayivele le ndlela le evele ngalapha. Maybe you'll be used to ukusebenzisa i-comma instead of a semicolon. Kanti uma usebenzisa semicolon iyona abayifuna lapha. So ngicela ukuthi ubhekisise lokho ngoba kubaluleke kakhulu. Now see it is looking for a number here now. So I'm just going to take a random number. Let's say I take 750. So that's my number. And then comma, it asks me which round up here to digits amangaki. If I were to say 1 and then close bracket, enter. Okay, it's giving me the same thing. Let me try and say 2 or 3. Okay, it's giving me the same thing. Let me try and change the cell. And I select, let me try this one. Okay, still giving me the same answer. But just to give you compactness so that tomorrow now you're coming across with the same thing like this. I assure you, at the marking center, they're not gonna mark whatever issue or now provided with your formula is okay. So say for an example, the formula equation requires 3 marks. You get your mark for round, you get your mark for cell, lot of or a number to and then you get your number of digits that you want. It happens with the times, depending which is social, it come well and but it's not always gonna be like this because now imagine we have a random Excel, so it may be a different case. Your exam. So it's not something that you should actually worry enough about it, provided you know the formula you did it right by the book. And then we have if. Now if we get test a condition either is normal is ingaman. So our final conditions. For an example, a condition is simpler in the condition you pass and fail. So if we say over 50 long pass, under 50 long fail. So you may find the normal conditions are different. Which is cut is to condition long to law, always fazan, yes, motor less or no. So we're just gonna say in this case, let's try a pass and fail. So let's say it 49, layer 50, layer 51. So rather than 7 out 3. So if we go to 7, you'll have to say equals to if, and then you open bracket. See here it looks for a logical test. So when we are saying if lenganele, it hole something engaphezu kuka 50. But let's say engaphezu noma elingana no 50. Lenganele akwenzakaleni ngayo. Now if you want to say something, the minute you share a comma here, is a mover to value if true. The minute you share a comma is a mover to value if false. So I'm done with my logical test. Ukuthi lenganele uma ithole u50 noma ngaphezulu. Ithi test yami akubhaleke upass. I've also mentioned this earlier on ukuthi upass wami ngubhala kumele ngifake ama-inverted commas or else Excel yami ngikwazi ukuthi iwu-read as a formula. Then bese ngishaya i-comma, same thing futhi happens, it moves to condition yami lelandelayo ka value if false. So ngamanye amagama I'm saying to you, uma ukuthi le ngane le ayitholanga 50 or greater than 50, I fail, and then I put in fail. Then I close the bracket. Remember, you have to close the bracket in order to volume, and then I press to enter. What did I miss here? Checking greater equals to. Okay, at times you may find that there is a typo, so on your phone to understand the type or type yam lana ukuthi ufail wami no ufail wami angizange ngivale nge-bracket lapho, I mean nge-inverted comma. So kubalulekile ukuthi uyi-understand uma uyenza kanje. See, it's giving you fail because le ngane le ithole ngaphansi ka-50. The very same formula obukade uyenzile, I'm gonna just copy it in the interest of time. The very same formula what uyenzile here isithi if le ngane le ithole ngaphezulu noma u50 ayipass, hence you are seeing a pass here. So same thing here applies. At times omunye umuntu uzoprefer ukuthi athi yena if le ngane le ithole ngaphansi noma okulingana no50 ayipass, so then it will be different here in your logical test. So uzofuna usebenzise u-less than, but it's always advisable to usebenzise u-greater. But it's a matter of you understanding, because I can actually use the very same formula like this, kodwa ngisebenzise u-less than. I can say equals to, if, give you the bracket, if le ngane le ithole ngaphansi noma ungango-50, so you see it's the same thing, but ekuqaleni ngithe ngaphezulu noma ungango-50, but this time usengithe ngaphansi, it changes now. So kufanele ngithi yena le ngane ayifail. So njengoba sengichazile, it depends ukuthi wena ngaleso sikhathi leso usukuyibuka noma uyi-understand kanjani. And then here I will use pass, and then somkhumbulile ukuthi bracket yami inverted comma ngifike ngivale. Enye into futhi giveaway, mabe kuwukuthi ngifisela ngiyasuka angifaka inverted comma yami laphana ngivale i-bracket, ngoba ingazange zibe bold, it tells me ukuthi something is missing. I should have actually noticed that before. So rather uma ushaya inverted comma bese uvale i-bracket, you can actually see ukuthi it becomes bolder ngalesikhathi usukuyivula. So it proves ukuthi yonke into yakho isuke ku-order. So it's more like the same thing. You're gonna get the very same answer. The case here is that it's because it's less than. Okay, you should have given the mark here because the mark here is 50. I think it has detected less kupela, but equals to I don't detect. But moving on, we have now. So now today now futhi ke sebenza depending what your set date on your computer is well. So now will actually give you date and time, while today will give you usuku kuphela. And let's see how sum if. Now sum if une condition ka if, so uyafana kahle no sum. Difference here is that the values that are included because of a condition ethile. So ngamagama here when you are making an example, so fike sithi lena ayisibalele yonke into la ngaphandle kuka 2011 noma isibalele kuphela from here down here udinga ubalo October, but there's always a condition. So calculate a sum from a group of values, but just of a value ethile emele ukuthi include. I'm trying to come up with the best way. Let's say, okay, ngicela ukuthi uqale ubuye kuqala ukuthi uma ngabe ukuthi usuyibhalile izobuya kanjani noma izothini. Add cell specified by a given condition or criteria. So we'll also get to deal with some ifs at a later on stage. Now some if, then it looks for a range. Now remember ukuthi i-range yakho ithini, i-range yakho ithini, ngibalele yonke lento le ela. Should it have been if? Okay, if awufakiwe asithi nje sum for now, and then close the bracket. This is our answer, 59.90. Now we are repeating the very same formula. Now we're saying equals to sum if it's in a condition. We are using the very same range. Then this is it, comma. Then it has asked us ukuthi njengoba sesibaleka ngayo yiphi i-criteria kahle esifuna ukusebenza ngayo. I think la ngithe ukudakamela kakhulu because cell yami, or rather engiyivulile kodwa kulungile. Let's try and say sifuna usum ka-June, criteria. Okay, I'm hoping this won't fail me. Sum range. Nah, this one won't work. Let me try and say this. 0. Yeah. not as much. Okay, so once you get into our lessons and our activities, I think we're going to come across with the lesson or activities of Caesar and the condition as than what we are trying to do. For now, let us try and look at the formulas and functions and helpful for us, especially for our exams. Now, at the Sibuga, our formulas are normal, our functions or 5, depending on the so mounting for now 5, bese ngivale bracket, then it will give you th wami le ngale ngabe 4, bese ngivala ama letters arm, that's 1 2 3 4 5. Hence I'm saying th no underscore no ma because ngithatha u5 after the character is 4. Now concatenating will actually put everything lower to yenza lana together in one cell, but again angikwazi ukuthi ngivele ngithi equals to concatenate model now ukuthi ngobhala bese ngithatha this text because kube ku global lokho ngiphinde ngibuye ngithi this text ngiphinde ngibuye ngithi this text. Remember mawuthi imisa noma icombine ama characters amaningi. If I were to do it like this, see ngiyabuya futhi man and bese kuba yeah, you know what I mean. So kubuya exactly lokho njalo kufake lapha yana. But the best way to prove ukuthi uconcatenate you understand ukuthi ukwazi ukuthi uhlanganise le left nale right nale mid ubafaka phakathi into a function yakho ubani concatenate. Let me make an example. Here I'm going to say equals to concatenate. Now concatenate will require me to put text number 1, but text number 1 first 3 letters of the weight. Let's just try and use different letters. Let's use this month. Let's use January, February, March. Let's say text number ngifuna first 2 letters ka January. Instruction numbers ukunikeza yona leyo. So you'll have to say left. You see your Excel will actually convert usizokhohla uconcatenate wenzile uzoshintsha manje uyokubani uye ku left, so still no left manje. So I'm saying I'm looking for ama characters out to January. So this will be my text, comma, I'm looking for 2 characters. Let's unvala the bracket. You see how clever it is. It goes back to concatenate to allow you to put text number 2, depending on text number 1. There was a instruction yakho ngifuna the last 2 letters ka February. So now you'll have to say right, then open bracket, then it changes your formula now. This is where I go right. So I'm going to write this is my text for February, and then I'm looking for the last 2 letters of February. So that will be 2 again, and then I close the bracket. Then it goes back to concatenate to allow you which want to forget text start or forget text start. But if not, you will the bracket could be right. Now saying for text start now. Text start once I say comma, it moves to text number 3. I need to here the whole month. I don't have to worry about left, right, and center. I'm just gonna say this month. Then comma, so some text is 4. Now with text is 4, ngifuna letter part and then out. Then again, this is when I say mid. Straight it jumps to a formula for mid. Excuse me, to allow you to go to 77 the function yakho mid. Remember what you said about mid, which is going to use April. We said April way to or good text here too. We have to know what is starting number one. So what's the water na sifuna ama letters out 2 ka April apart in the so after the second letter. So you're starting, or rather your text is here, April, then your starting number, we have to use a comma, we say 2. Why are we doing this? Because of April, last number letters are matter to pair. And then we say comma, then it asks for a number of characters. We don't have much, so we're gonna stick with a number of characters out 2. And then we close bracket. It moves straight to concatenate to allow you to add more text. You can add as much text as possible. But you have to close the bracket, so you close the manager, concatenate, then we are done. So what we expect here to happen is together the first 2 letters of January, the last 2 letters of February, the whole text March, and then it will give you the middle it will give you the middle letters ka April. Then when you press enter, you're gonna come across it like this. Like I said, the first 2 letters, the last 2 letters, and then the whole March, and then the middle letters ka April. That is how concatenate will actually work. Okay, now we go to lower no upper. Now lower no upper, umsebenzi wawo easy kakhulu. Mawuthi lento yakho ufunekisa kuma upper case, it will take it to upper case. Mawuthi ufunekisa kuma lower cases, it will take it to ama lower cases. So it's a pretty straightforward. Nayo ku upper no lower uyasebenza ku concatenate. You can actually tell ukuthi yonke le upper uyenza lapha. Let's say this whole thing. Ufuna ukuthi ibe ku upper cases. So same thing, I can use the very same thing and say this case here I look my lower cases. So this is how actually upper and lower will work. And then we've got length. So this one returns the length yakho character sibiza ngo len, depending ukuthi ubani ubudebali. So equals to length returns the number of characters in the text string. So here an example, okay, click the bracket. So I open the bracket and then I click the text and then I close the bracket. So the length of this text is 11. Right. Now let's follow to keep it in mind. But again, because of the interest of time, for notices, I'm going to put as much functions as possible into our heads. Now I'm errors now to Excel. But before I get into my errors, I've also spoken about absolute self-referencing. Now absolute self-referencing will actually work. Okay, let me take off again this part here and then show you what to call absolute self-referencing. Absolute self-referencing F4 functional keys A2 or in our keyboard. So when whatever cell will be on, no matter how for an example, I'm gonna use 20 here, just an example, and then I'm gonna say equals to the mali times 20. This shall end. That's 182. But if the copper is this money will be 4 times F2. I say how much F1. And then I'm going to copy the whole thing is your figures that I'm going to stick like 20. So this is where no absolute self-referencing will actually come handy. So I'm saying everything is will be calculated like must be counted up to times 20. So I was this is when you find my formulas and errors. So how do you do that? Here, F1 you press F4 in your keyboard. So you say F4. Now F4 will actually convert the cells into a dollar sign. So once it's converted like that, it means it's gonna be absolute. So if I were to copy it down, it's gonna give me the very same cell. See, B4 times F1, B6 times F1. So it's still sticking to F1. So B10 times F1, same thing, B12 times F1. So this is how your absolute self-referencing will actually work. So here you are just giving ukuthi usebenza kanjani. So kukhona ongaphelele, kukhona osuke usuphelele njalo letha siwenza njengamanje. Now these are the errors ozohlangana nawo uma ukuthi you are dealing with Excel. This one is a division divided by 0. So whenever you're trying to divide something with 0, you're gonna come across with this error. Now UNA, formula function yako, inside the formula cannot find reference data. So let us refer to in most cases. While uname, text in the formula is not recognized. Skip here normal, for formula or the bracket was your humble somewhere else. So usually it pop up. So your null is specific was used in formulas that reference multiple ranges. So a comma separates range references. So here usually you need to put in a comma noma semicolon instead of a space. Now bese siba no num where formula has an invalid numeric data. Usually ke kwenzeke uma ukuthi usebenzisa into ethile eyinumber kodwa manje wafaka in i-text, and then sibe no ref. So lana reference yakho isuke invalid. Nakhona lapho umuthi unendawo ethile othatha kuyona idatha yakho uma ukuthi le data yakho isisukile noma isideletiwe, noma ke reference yakho isuke ngasasebenzi, and then you're gonna find or you're gonna come across with something ezokunikeza i-error efana nale. Then sesiba no value, the wrong type of operand or a wrong type of function argument is used. So lana to sebenzisa argument asuke wrong, you're gonna come across with value. So kuye kwenzeka kakhulu ama functions njalo lapho senza ka concatenate. Total state usufake umnete noma left noma right, somewhere in between there. If function yakho argument yakhona ayisahlangana, you're gonna come across with this such errors. Remember these errors, you need to understand them, ukuthi enziwa yini nokuthi enzeka kanjani, so that whenever you come across with them, it becomes easy for you to detect ukuthi ikuphi kufanele ukuthi ulungise at that particular moment in time. Okay, and then let's say, okay, this is opening it to check some lessons. So njengamanje we've just looked at ama formulas nama functions. Let's look more further kuma formulas nama functions amane esihlangana nawo. Now here don't mind, because nama formulas nama functions esikhuluma ngawo, they're gonna keep on coming up, So remember again, formula a calculation statement that the user writes. So le esebenza ngobani equals to. The very same thing esebenzayo ku math noma on your mathematical operators ziyasebenza futhi lapha ku Excel. So for subtraction sisebenzisa minus, for addition sisebenzisa plus sign, for division sisebenzisa forward slash, not to backward slash. For multiplication sisebenzisa star or asterisk, and for exponential sisebenzisa i-caret lapha phezulu. So wonke ama formulas akho sisakusho futhi earlier on adinga ukuthi aqala ngobani, aqala ngo-equal sign. So if ever you start with the formula equal sign ungekho, then low function yakho leyo noma low formula yakho leyo ngeke izivele. Now i-function akhandeliwe akhona ngaphakathi ku-Excel, so they are built in. That is why I told my ukuthi nje uthi equals to, automatically here we are given ama functions aseduzane. You can always go to more functions as you may have done it before. Same thing here, you always go to have with insert function because they are here, they are given, they are loaded. Now, so if function yakho kufanele ilandele ngegama njengoba sesenzile ama example ka sum, ka if, etc. And then bese kuba khona ama argument ozobhekana nawo abangaphakathi kuma bracket. So again here ama functions, sesikhuluma ngama text functions. Now nama functions angena ngaphansi kwama mathematical functions, nama functions angena ngaphansi ka date and time, nama functions angena ngaphansi ka lookup and references. So these ones are a little bit interesting, but a little bit advanced as well. So again, ufuna ukuthi ukhumbule ukuthi uv lookup no h lookup, they do the same thing. The only difference is that this is your vertical and this is your horizontal. I'm gonna come back to this. Bese siba nama statistical functions. Lawa zoba no mode, no average. Bese siba nama logical, like siza khona or if kakhulu or not. The no text functions we just did ama text functions not too long ago. Now again, ngizobuyela back futhi kuma functions ethi sesisebenza ngawo so that uzo understand. Now kuya depend which function yakho usuke uyisebenzisa case esuke injani. So dilila ngo right, we've got different types of functions. I think maybe I need to go back to that one. So no average, we did to average to sebenza kanjani, where it calculates the average from the list of numbers. So ukuthi cell yakho isuke blank, the cell will not be able to use the average calculation. Ukuthi isuke no 0, the cell will be included in the average calculation. So we are given an example here ukuthi average yakho izosebenza kanjani. So your average here will be the average yonke ya text yakho suku nala phaya. Now this is how it will actually work. It's going to be equals to average, and then you highlight the temperature, the whole temperature down here, and then you close the bracket. So your answer will be 28.6. Now, brackets in formulas depend on the formula kusukudila nango sesikhathi sebenza kanjani. Now, count sesike sawenza futhi now. So count will actually count whatever the case osuke unayo into your Excel. So this function will count the number of numerical entries in the list. So now I'm going to blank, noma kune text, noma nama errors, and this is the count. So your example will be equals to count, and then I'm just going to highlight this part only, and then we say value bracket. So see, it only gives me 6, while the lamu bema nobani 9. So it did not calculate this, and that, because blank kunama text or else kunama errors. So same thing with to count A, we count the number of numerical or text entries in the list. So it only ignore ama blanks. So again, equals to count A. So A lona kahle usho ukuthi all. So here I'm gonna say count everything here, and then enter. So it will give me 8. Remember when I highlighted this, it's 9 when you look up there. Rows are 9. So you ignore any blank here, because you count A, we count everything. Now again, you count blank, delete now. Just here it's a matter of understanding. So it's equals to count blank. So count blank will count the number of cells in a range that are empty. So in this case, I'm gonna just highlight. It does not care with the text or else with the errors. You wanna find parent is blank. So in this case, we've got blank spaces. Now again, we count if wako would count the number of items which match the criteria also kusebenza ngayo. Now khumbula sesiwenza count ubala nje into esuke iyini number. Count A ubala yonke into, while count blank ubala into esuke blank. Now count if une condition. Sike sayozama ukwenza count if or just some if sazozama ukubheka futhi namanje. So count if will actually count a condition osuke usebenza ngaphansi kwayo. So this function counts the number of items which match the criteria osuke usebenza ngayo. So in this case, mawuthi sifuna ukubala ukuthi ama break ethu mangaki, sizosebenzisa count if. Mawuthi sifuna ukubala ukuthi ama tires ethu mangaki, sizosebenzisa count if. Let's make an example ngokushesha. Equals to count if. So kuba khona no count ifs futhi. So count if sunama conditions asuke engaphezulu kweyodwa. So first thing la sizobheka i-range yethu. So let's say here we are looking for, depending on ama tires noma brakes. So let's say tires upendeka kaningi la. Let's say ama tires. So sifuna ama tires here. So we're gonna say count if, comma, sifuna ini la. Mawuthi sifuna ama tires, as I have mentioned before, you can either click tires, close bracket, and enter. So I've got 1, 2, 3 tires. Or you can actually type in tires, provided you trust yourself ukuthi spelling sakho sizoba right, because in most cases you find ukuthi abantu bafela ukuyenza lento le because spelling sakho nasisuke singekho right. So it counts for the same ukuthi ibhalile ikuma inverted commas noma usuyiklickile. And also remember, in cases where you are supposed to copy something, mawukuthi uyiklickile, see through it ukuthi usebenzisa absolute self-referencing like we did before. So mawukuthi uyicopy kanje, see through it ukuthi usebenzisa F4. Okay, give me a second. Something is about to come out there. Okay, so mawukuthi uyisebenzisile, make sure ukuthi usebenzisa F4 as an absolute self-referencing. So mabe ukuthi sekuyenzeka uyayicopy, it will always look for anything ubani tire kuphela yona. Enye into evokalokho ayibheki, ibheka nje tires kuphela. Concatenate siwenzile ukuthi usebenza kanjani. Whereby we mix ama functions or we join ama separate pieces of text into one item. This does not apply to us. While if usukune condition, example esiyenzile kade ku example yokuphasa komuntu noma yama result. So we may say umuntu mawuthi target ngaphezulu kwathi sike sidinga, sifaka achieved. Umuntu achieve less sifaka not achieved. Ayadependa ama-cases ethu. Now large bengudinga ukuthi siwenze beno-small because azange sibakhave, while maximum no-minimum siwenzile. Now large will actually give you either the second, the third highest. Now the difference between large no maximum is that maximum would gives you the highest number. What large will give you either the second highest, the third highest, the fourth highest. So same thing applies with minimum. Minimum will give you the lowest number. Kodwa small will give you the second smallest or the third smallest, depending on the cases you give me. So this is the case here. Let's say equals to min, and then it will ask us la in our values ukuthi yiphi encane. So encane is 100. But if we were to say the very same thing, kodwa sisebenzisa small, so it will ask me ukuthi yiphi part engiyifunayo la in our array. Then I'm going to highlight it, comma, and then it will ask me ukuthi ngifuna the second, the third, or the fourth. So I'm going to say the second smallest, and then I'm going to close it and enter. So 120 is my second smallest. Same thing applies. If I were to say equals to max, I would be presented with the highest number here, 800. But if I were to say equals to large, I will have to say ngifuna the second or the third highest. So I'm going to highlight it here, then I'm going to say comma, so I'm going to choose boom, saying to enter. So 250 is the second highest number there, right after 800. Left maximum no mid, we done with them. We also spoke about it, and then we don't use the product no rank. Alright, it's criminal now, but no left, no round foot, you actually did it. Now round down, no round up. Familiar with round. Now round, I will round the number to a specified amount of decimal places. You'll be specifying. Or round down, with round down to a specified amount of data places. Or the more to go 0, it will round down to the nearest whole number. Now round up, we'll round up to a specified number of decimal places. Same thing, if we move to there's a 0, it number is round up to the nearest whole number. So small categories manje usam so I'm avoiding ukuthi ama formulas amaningi kakhulu. So this is one formula again engikholela ukuthi yena iyadinga ukuthi si understand. Let's ibiza ama VLOOKUP. Now VLOOKUP ungena ngaphansi kuka ungena ngaphansi kwama lookup and reference functions. So let's say ukuthi VLOOKUP usebenza kanjani. This one we don't have to save it because we're just doing our activities. Now VLOOKUP will actually scans down the row headings at the side of a table to find a specified item. So much items say taller, then it scans across to pick up a cell entry. So kuba nama conditions ethile sokusebenza ngawo. Now in this case we are an example that we are given G11. Now G11 kukhona in G11 kukhona February, and then we are told ukuthi sifuna, okay, how am I gonna make this example easier? C6 to H8 and then force. Okay. And now I think this one is gonna make it just a little bit difficult. This is one formula as if I want to see in details. But VLOOKUP will actually look up for the value. Let's try to do it so that we can understand it. Equals to VLOOKUP. Again, look up for a value in the leftmost column. So I'm gonna double click. If I were to say I'm looking for February here, so I will have to say look for February there. If the Ithala, and then I'm going to say comma, then this is a little table from February. Passing this whole table from here, to here, then comma, then bese ingibuza column index number ukuthi lento engisuke ngifuna kuphi nendawo, ngifuna here. So I column index number get depend ukuthi isuke kuphi. So column 5 lo, but you see I can't just say column 5 lena because njengamanje ngibheka lapha, especially in most cases it's going to be 1 2 3 4 5. So column index number I'll have to say 5, and then so noma kama ngifuna something ezophuma ku February ku column index. I'm not sure if this is gonna work. Okay, let's try again. Equals to, and then u2 usebenza mabe ukuthi into sokudila ngayo is an approximate match, while u4 sima ukuthi sokuyifuna isuke iku exact match. Okay, let's try false, close bracket, one check. Oh yes, now yaphuma. So here we've actually looked for February. So February answer account is over. So she highlighted the whole table. So on the whole table, the answer is according to February. Go 110. I think it's gonna be a little bit easier now. So equals to, let's say go column 2. Sifuna ama numbers athile ku column 2 aqondene no February. Noma ku column 3 aqondene no February. We're gonna say look up from i-value ka March. That's the example here. What is funa column, so funa column 3. So look up value of March, comma, the table later is gonna be the very same table here, comma, this is the funa, let us say funa column index number 3. So whatever funa is funa column index number 3. So we say 3, and then we set comma, basically it's negative range. So test to 7 false, was if the exact match. So we use false. You can type in false as well, and then close bracket. So the 12 was 69. I think this requires another activity, another lesson. This is what ends. So this one we will find out to be remember, again, v lookup, no h lookup, uhamba kanjani. V lookup usuke ku vertical, while h lookup usuke ku horizontal. So follow to ukukhumbula lokho. Other than that, before we start our revision next week, we're gonna have to deal with all of these functions one by one again. So this is your mathematical ones, your date and time ones, your lookup references, your statistical, your logical, your text. And then after that, we do ama lessons, noma ama exercises asosiza ukuthi sikwazi sikade kahle. Ngicabanga ukuthi sifundile okungisiza kakhulu ku preliminary as well as on our final exam. If not, ngabe ukuthi nama questions nama answers anodingayo, please do not hesitate to reach to us as well, so you know our platforms asebenza kanjani. Siyabonga kakhulu ngethuba from Ithala education platform kanjalo naku Digital SA Foundation. Thank you.
Ningakhohlwa ukuthi nisengathokozela ezinye izifundo eziyisithupha kanye nezengeziwe i-learner wellness, i-career guidance kanye ne-advanced program. Hlanganyela nathi kwizifundo ezi-online ku-068 151 1072 noma ku-godg@godigitalsa.today. Siyabonga.